everyday witches emerge from the shadows of secrecy. Broom closets are flinging open and witches are taking flight. Whether you are hiding in your cozy closet or flying with pride, stay for a spell as Witchcasting with Theodora Pendragon and her guests share magical moments, stir the cauldron, and debunk misinformation and misconceptions about paganism, witches, and our wonderful world of magic.
Welcome to Witchcasting with Theodora Pendragon. I'm your host, Theodora. Today I have a special guest. She is the Witch of Ukraine. Welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and very welcome to everyone who listening to us. Thank you for your attention.
Would you like to share a little bit about your heritage? Because I understand that you're a hereditary witch.
Yeah, that's true. My Ukrainian grandma was a witch, and she actually passed her gift and her knowledge to me. Probably she saw something, special in me. And that's what happened. And basically, I've been practicing it for kind of sometimes. It's not my main field what I do in my life, of course, but this is kind of something what I do as a side. I wouldn't say it's a hobby, it's a way of life. If you're rich, there is no another way of life, right?
Tell us what it's like to be a Ukrainian witch. Give us a little background about the history and the traditions.
Basically, Ukrainian witchcraft has its roots in paganism, of course, and Ukrainian pagans and Slavic pagans. We had our pantheon of goddesses and gods, of course, in the ancient time, and the gods we worshipped and the gods we prayed to. And that's became really important part of the ancient time. However, after Christianity took over, right, so basically it's been hard time for all people who practiced on that time paganism and especially for witches. If we're talking about witchcraft and witches in Ukraine, it has very rich traditions there. And if you read our fairy tales or stories or folklore, we have witches everywhere. So it's kind of big part of our culture. And in the Asian Slavic language, Ukrainian word vidma, which means witch, right, means someone who knows, someone who has a knowledge. So it's basically someone who's smart and has the knowledge. So that's how you can describe in ancient time what people thought about witches. Unfortunately, then Christianity came and Christianity take over. Witch as a figure, as a one who has knowledge, became a really contradicted figure, right? So unfortunately, it was pretty much the same as in all Europe on that time, and a lot of witches were killed because of their, knowledge and something what they were different than others. And yeah, right now we still have a lot of problems with witchcraft in Ukraine because you have to understand that the most of Ukrainians are quite religious. However, we still keep traditions through healers, for example, and they don't call themselves witches. But basically they do practice witchcraft because the healing and the rituals they do, that's all about witchcraft. But as I told you, for religious people, it's really hard to accept this fact. So they call themselves as healers, and some of them even incorporate some Christianity traditions into their craft, which is quite interesting because they use a Jesus, they use the God, they use all those, the very Christian concepts. and they're using it in their healing rituals. So, however, they call themselves white witches. They don't do any like black magic. They don't do any, any harmful rituals. And and people more accepted that as a healers, right? However, we have a lot of people who practice traditional witchcraft. They don't mix it with Christianity, of course, and they do as the pagans did it before. So we have like a very, very interesting mixture of people doing witchcraft. What else? Yes, and we have black magic, people who practice black magic. This is kind of very scary part for a lot of people because they kind of don't understand the nature of it. And yes, the true, you can do some very harmful rituals, very harmful things to other people. Yes, it's kind of contradictive things. However, some people still do it, and there are a lot of people who seek help in that. Yeah, it is what it is. And a lot of people, they do, for example, love spells. It's very popular. And love spells you can do as a black witch, or you can do as a white witch. Depends on what's the person who seeking your help ask you to do.
Can you tell us what gods and goddesses you worship?
From the old times, of course, we have like the main female figure in pantheon. It was goddess Makosh. It's really transforming because mostly right now witches, they believe in Mother Earth and something as a sacred figure, and it's more as about energy rather than a figure, right? Let's say it actually represents the all energy we have in this world, and especially female energy, right? Which is we're talking about something more constructive, something about our motherland, about our fertility, about something bringing to this world. And I wouldn't say we worship goddesses at the moment or gods at the moment, but I would say it's rather about present the Mother Earth. So we worship them, and this something what give us the power, right? Everything what we get from this world, we're talking about the power this earth gives us, and we're really thankful for that and grateful for that.
There are different types of Ukrainian witches. Can you tell us the different types?
Oh, yeah. As I said before, we have healers, right? This is the most popular. But we have healers, and they don't basically call themselves witches. They call themselves healers. Or Ukrainian word for that, babka. Babka, the direct translation is a grandma, right? But however, they are just healers, and they do ritual to heal people. Usually, those people, they live in the villages. Those people, they're herbalists as well. So they collect herbs. They also, not only using the medicinal herbs, they have their rituals as well. Like they use different products like eggs and other stuff. And I think it's very similar to any witchcraft, right? There are some differences, but very similar too, because we all have our wisdom and our knowledge from the same source, right? So basically we have some differences, but in reality, if we're talking on a bigger picture, it's very similar. Those people call themselves healers, and people go. Usually, people seek their help if they're ill, or for example, the traditional doctors cannot help them, so they try to find help from those people. Then we have, which is they are more as a fortune tellers. So tarot cards, they're not usually very popular. They use just normal plain cards, right? And they use it to tell your fortune. And in Ukraine, it's a very traditional place for travelers as well. So we have like communities of travelers. Technically, they live in Ukraine, right? But they're still travelers. So mostly they are fortune tellers as well. So they use cards, they use playing cards. They use they can use your hand to tell you your future. But not only travelers do that. We have like witches who specialize only in fortune telling, and they don't do anything else. Then we have, as I said, white and black witches. Let's say black witches usually they do some harm rituals, right? So if someone's seeking for revenge or something, they want to make someone's life miserable, they can seek help from black magic. And also like love magic can be really harmful as well. It really depends on which level we're talking about, because some witches, for example, they can do rituals. Let's say one of the rituals it's called black wedding. And if you do this ritual, basically the person who's involved will be obsessed with you. And there is no way to break the spell. So it's so powerful. And this is to the moment then, for example, if you did this ritual and you want someone to fall in love with you, right? It's not even love, it's obsession. So you even cannot break the spell. So that's how powerful is that. But basically the black witches, they do rituals like that, and they can do some spells. They can actually even kill someone using the spell. And there is like a lot of people who practice only white magic. White magic's usually you do only something protective magic, healing magic, protective magic, love magic as well, but this love magic not to make someone obsessed with you, right? Which sometimes people really mistaken with love. To bring love to your family, for example, if something happened there. So kind of more soft way of dealing with love magic. But love magic is extremely popular, so people seeking love magic a lot. And yes, protective magic is important, and a lot of people they kind of seeking for that. They like amulets, protective amulets to wear, and they do like protective spells as well. So that's important as well. And I would say it's a very nice mix of people doing and practicing different, rituals in different ways, and some of them use black magic, some of them use white magic, how they call it. For me, there is not a big difference between black and white magic, because I still think it's just energies we received from this world, and the energies they use it, we bring back, or we just use it from the old pool of this energy around the world. So yes and no. Then you could, but it depends how you're going to use it. You can use it to harm someone, or you can use it to bring happiness and luck to someone. Okay, that's, I think I answered you, right? Your question?
You did answer me. I do want to ask you about, in Ukraine, you said that many witches don't call themselves witches. They call themselves healers. Are many witches still in the broom closet?
I would say yes, because, some people, look, we all know then some people, then they have a gift, right? Sometimes they don't know even what they have a gift. So we're talking about like different situation. We have like some women who, for example, even did not know then they have someone in their family, for example, who practiced witchcraft, and they've got these abilities from them. They've got this gift from someone from their family, because people were hiding this. And once then they even don't know they have the gift, and then it's manifestation started, right? And they basically they see their power, and they do something which is really scare them as well, because they didn't know they even can do that, or sometimes they even don't know they do it. Like I knew the woman, she had the evil eye, right, as a gift. She didn't know about that at all. But then people around her, it started like she started like manifestation of her evil eye gift started then she was a teenager. And then she, let's say, people around her were getting sick suddenly, or like, something happened to them, some unlucky events happened to them. Then she realized every time she envies someone, that what happened. So, and then she was so scared because this is a gift she cannot control, right? And she was seeking for someone help, and she found the witch who taught her how to use it, because you can control it, right? Some of the gifts you just need practice and you can control it. And basically she became quite comfortable with this gift. However, I still think there is no like bad or good gifts, right? They're all equally great because we get them from Mother Earth. So just like take it, use it, and be grateful for that, whatever is it. So evil eye maybe not really nice gift, I would say, but it's still, you can control it, and you can try to use it for like in situation then you judge it's the right way to use, right? So she learned, but however, she never called herself the witch. I think she still, because I haven't talked to her for a long time, but I think on that time she said she right now know how to control it, and she did not use it for, on that time, she didn't use it against anyone anymore. So it was her choice, right? Because if people suspect you have some power, of course, some people, because they don't know what is it, right? They're scared. Then the people who, for example, they know for sure they have this power, they know for sure how to use it. Yes, unfortunately, as I said, like most of the people, they're scared of something what they don't understand. And if people scared of something what they don't understand, they start hating it, right? It's like natural reaction. It's a lot of examples, not only witches we're talking about anything which is different. So, and reaction is kind of to be really, be really hateful about things. I think this made a lot of witches to not actually go open about their power, about their gifts, about something they can do. Even if they're talking about like only white magic or something healing, they still quite scared what's, people will think about them, and people will curse them and whatever. It's kind of sad, because I would say if you have something which Mother Earth gave you, this is kind of waste if you just keep it with yourself in the closet.
Some of the listeners may not know what the gift of the evil eye is. Can you explain what that is? The gift of the evil eye.
Yeah, evil eye, actually, it's someone who can just look at you. By looking at you, can make you sick, or just bring bring unluck in your life. Just usually it's quite, it depends how strong the person is. So it can be, the person can be very sick, or even like even I would say, I saw one case, then the person just broke the leg after that. So it can be very strong. But usually evil eye associated with someone who jealous or envy, right? About something another person has. Not really true, because it's still a gift, right? To curse someone. But however, you can control it by your emotions. And you can use it against the people for example, if you judge people by yourself and those people deserve it, right? So this is the way how you control it. But evil eye is really, it's kind of have a very bad reputation back home, and if they accuse you have an evil eye, you're in really bad position, because people will just avoid you at any cost.
You said in Ukraine that there are witches everywhere in the fairy tales, and it's very rich in tradition.
Yeah, that's true.
In the fairy tales, are the witches old hags to be feared?
Actually, most of them, yeah. Most of them, they have very bad reputation, even in fairy tales. So usually they're not really good characters there. But I think that will happen then Christianity came, right? And all those goddesses, they became like they were trying to get rid of the paganism as the worshippers, and they were trying to remove it and replace it with the new religion. So basically they were trying to make their very, like, the mean and dark figures, right? And all those gods and goddesses, they became really dark figures. I would say representation of witches in not only in Ukrainian folklore, just in Slavonic folklore, right? It's Baba Yaga. Basically, Baba Yaga in the fairy tales, in some fairy tales, it's just a wise old woman, right? But a lot of fairy tales see Baba Yaga as a very dark figure. She eats children there. She really like kind of nasty witch there. However, that figure at the beginning, it was like representing one of the goddess, and she was just a wise woman. And as I said, people scared of something they don't understand. And unfortunately, then we're talking just in general about females as a witches and females in ancient time. Unfortunately, Christianity also brought with it the patriarchal way of dealing with women, and wise independent women very quickly became a target. So then you're talking about, previously we were talking about the closet. This is another way, another thing what I forgot to mention, but it's a huge thing, that women themselves became a big target because patriarchal way of living did not give them much opportunity, to be independent. And the witches are independent, and this is how we are, and that's scary for some men, for example.
Yeah, that's true. There are men who are afraid of strong women.
And then they call them witches, even if they're not.
Or bitches.
Yeah, even if they're not, so they call them witches. So here you go.
Let's go back to your grandmother. You said she saw something in you. Tell us about what you learned from your grandmother and how old you were when she first introduced you to witchcraft.
Oh, I was very young. My first interaction, I think I was 5, something like that, 5. And that the first time she taught me how to make motanka. Motanka is a ritual doll. In right now, it's like motankas is everywhere. It's represent like Ukrainian culture, but in the beginning, like in ancient time, motanka, it was your first doll. So it's the first doll what parents gave to daughter. There are different types of those dolls, and they you use them for different types of things. For example, most of them you use to protect your house. There are motankas to protect against illness. So there are a lot of different motankas. So it's usually given you without a face. So if it's your own doll, your own motanka, you draw a face. So that's how it's become yours. It's like a protective amulet, I would say. You can use it as a protective amulet. She gave me motanka, and it was really interesting because I didn't know what is it. And she explained to me, so I have to think about it and draw a face. And yes, and I drew a face later on, and it was my like a doll for a long, long time. So unfortunately, I kept it there in her house, and she lived in the village. And unfortunately, when she died, the motanka actually disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. She mostly was into the healing. She taught me about a variety of herbs and what herbs are good for which, against which diseases. So that was the first time then I was helping her. Then I was very little. I was helping her to collect herbs, to dry them, and to make some tea with that. So, and then she was, because I saw some people coming to her, right? So it was kind of, and I was peeping, to be honest, and I was just looking what's going on inside. And I saw some rituals she did. She used eggs to, actually, there is the one of the ritual when you use eggs, and that's one of my very early memories. Then she was using this egg to roll the disease out. So that's one of the ritual in Ukrainian witchcraft. You use an egg and you just roll out the disease out the person. So, and I remember I was peeping and watching it. Then she did some rituals with wax. She did some love rituals as well, but love rituals, she never did any black magic. So that was kind of out of her comfort zone. However, later on, I just discovered that black magic, if you do it correctly, and if you do it if you know what you're doing, what she was telling me, it's not safe. That was her thing, because I remember I was like maybe around nine-ish, something this age, and I was asking her about love magic, and she told me, don't listen to the people who tell you they will bring you anyone you want. Right? If you fall in love with someone and you want these people be with you, don't do it. Don't go to those people, because it's black magic. Don't touch it. It's not safe, and you will be not, protected enough. And that was very interesting, because later on I just found out, yeah, you can do whatever rituals you want if you know what you're doing. So basically, but yeah, it's kind of things. So mostly she was a healer, I would say. And people comes to her with things. However, people come to her if they believe they were cursed. That was another thing she did. So she was working with cursed people and get rid of curse, because cursing back home is kind of, the black magic witches. They really into these techniques. Then they can curse you to death. There are some rituals. Technically, I know how to do that, but to be honest, I've been probably, would say, maybe too responsible. So I never curse anyone to death. So it's kind of very strong thing, and you have to pay for that anyway. Earlier or later, you have to pay for that.
There's always a price.
Yes. I mean, a lot of people do it. They know how to protect themselves, and basically you can do it. But yeah, it's still energy. They're not going anywhere, right? They still in this world, so it might hit you sooner or later.
I've seen a lot of Ukrainian art with wolves' bones. Is that part of witchcraft as well, using wolves' bones?
Right, any animal's bones. The wolf, right, itself. He's the totem animal of Ukraine. So it's very ancient symbol of Ukraine, because basically, then you want to make a compliment to someone, you can call them wolf, because they are brave, and they will fight till the end. And yes, the bones, actually I would say any animals, wolves included, can be used in the rituals, because of it's a totem animal, so you can bring all this power from that animal to real life. So as I said, we use eggs, we use but the thing is, sacrificing animals, it's a part of black magic. White magic, they don't sacrifice any animals, so for them it's just not really the part they usually use. As I said, like they can use bones, they can use feathers, some parts of animals, but not really sacrificing them and use the blood, for example. It's most of the black magic rituals. Water is very important. Water, one of the main ingredients of a lot of rituals, especially if we're talking about water being we call like a dead water. It's the water you use to wash the corpses, the dead people, right? So this water, people collect it and use it for some rituals. Then also water, then you so it's kind of, yeah, but it's understandable. Water, it's a very sacred substance, and one of the is there where we come from. It's we are children of water.
The witches of Ukraine are very rich in tradition, you said.
We really try, to keep the recipes. If you inherited witch, right? If you hereditary witch and you inherited your gift from someone from your family, it's easier, right? So you can collect the recipes and you can have you write it down, the rituals, just following someone who practices witchcraft in your family. But however, it's not necessary you can inherit your gift. There are a lot of people who have this gift just randomly. You don't know why they're having the gift. And some of the witches, it's actually kind of big thing. Witch should pass all her power and her gift to someone before she dies. So it's a big thing. And a lot of witches, they try to find someone who will be taking over, right? And they train this person and they pass this gift to this person. But some of the witches, they cannot do that. I mean, they don't have anyone to actually pass them all their wisdom and their gift. So in this case, they have to find someone before they die. There is one of the beliefs that the witch cannot die before she passes this to someone. I know a few stories about that.
Are most of the witches in Ukraine solitary witches, or are there also witches that are in covens?
Oh, I would say most of the witches, they're just hereditary witches. The covens, it's not kind of our way. We usually do independently. It's very rarely then people get together. Only if it's something like very big deal and they try to, for example, protect the village or protect the place they live or something like very big thing. But usually, most of the time, people individually practice it. So when the war started, I know back home, a lot of witches, they gathered together and they did protective rituals. I did myself, but I did individually because I'm not a part of any coven, so I'm not quite sure about this area in UK. I only know that some people, they were getting together. Because then you practice individually, it's really kind of independently, it's really kind of, you're not really getting in touch with other people. And it's kind of, but it's traditionally, right? It's really different to, let's say, to European or Western tradition. Then we're talking about covens and people just get together quite often, right? And and practice all together. We don't do that. It's not in our tradition.
Do you usually know who the other witches are in your villages?
Oh, yeah.
Is that common to know who the other witches are?
It's easy. And usually people, those people there, look, 1 minute, then people know you have a witch in your village, you will see people coming to see this person. So even if you did not know that, you will see people will ask. People will come.
Oh, there's that wise woman. I'm going to go see that wise witch.
Yes. I need this healer or someone, and it's a word of mouth. So people don't usually, right now we live in the modern world, right? And people just can promote themselves and whatever, but however, you don't know the quality of those people. However, it doesn't matter. So people can actually have the opportunity to promote themselves. But in the time, let's say even 10, 20 years ago, it word of mouth. So people just talk to each other and say, where is the healer in that village? And people go there. There is someone fortune teller in another one, and people go there. So that's how it works. Because some people may be a bit ashamed, then they go to the witch and seeking their help. They just try to convince themselves it's okay if nobody knows. I will go there secretly, right? Yeah, I know it's just happening, right? So a lot of people they and again, some people, they really don't need the witchcraft. That's another part of something what we practice, right? Some people, they don't even need your witchcraft. Some people just seeking some advice, or they need seeking some wise, the suggestion or something like. It's not really about witchcraft. It's about them to talk to someone. So yeah, it's a lot of people who come to me. They just want to talk. They even don't need any ritual. They just need to talk. So here you go. That's the part of our life and our routine.
As a practicing witch, what do you do for people who seek out your knowledge and wisdom?
Usually I do protective magic. So people usually, I do love as well, health, love, protective magic. So I make amulets for people. I write spells for people so they can, for example, use my spell. The amulets I usually put spell on it, because back home, when we're talking about spell, it's a little bit different. Ukrainian witchcraft and Slovenian witchcraft a little bit different that, for example, Western tradition of spells, right? Our spells is verbal art, so it's words you use.
Verbal art.
Yeah, it's a verbal art. Yes, it's the words. So the words have their power, right? The word you use have a power. So here you go. And for the ritual itself, like to using, let's say, candles or using some wax or whatever, that's not really important part of that. The important part of that, it's your spell you preparing, right? The words you're preparing, the words you put together. Some of the spells, you can get it from your let's say if you inherited it, so you can get it from someone you inherited it from, right? So you have like a recipes, you have like the spells. But if you, for example, like me, I write my own spells. That's why I need to know the person. I need to know the person, like I need some details from that person. So I do it individually for particular person. Of course, right now you can buy a book and you can see a lot of spells there. So it's everything like against this, or if you have this, you can use this spell. So I hope it works if you if you're using it, and especially if people who have no idea what they're doing. So they buy in a book and doing spells. And sometimes I saw like a few books like that, and it was it's so random. It include like black magic rituals and stuff, you cannot tell people to do that because they don't know how to protect themselves. What's gonna happen next? That there is you really need to be you really need to understand what you're doing, right? If you don't understand what you're doing, you might harm yourself and harm the person you just trying to put spell on. Right. However, I do my own spells, and I put those spells. I enchant the amulets with those spells, and usually, yes, it's love, health, protection. Sometimes if some people seeking wealth, I can do that as well.
Do you offer those services online?
Oh, actually, yes. People come to me, and for example, if they're asking me to do the digital amulet, I can do it for them. So I can put my spell. I write the spell, individual spell for the person, right? So I get know the person and write individual spell, and I do the art. Digital amulet they can use whenever they want, wherever they want. I also do like real amulets as well. So, but usually with real amulets, it's kind of longer process because I need to make sure like the all my materials I clear them before. So I try to get rid of bad energy before I'm doing it, and then I enchant them with my spells. But those mostly they're not very individual, right? So they can be used by anyone.
If any of the listeners would like for you to write them a spell, they can contact you?
Yeah, they can just write it down on my Instagram. Yeah, and I can talk to the person and for their needs, and I will write a spell for them. Sure, and I can do the digital amulet for them or real amulet. It's up to them. I also can do like Motankas. This is the ritual doll, and again I can enchant them. Like the as well the same health, love, wealth, or protection. So it depends what the person will choose. Only thing what I don't do black magic. I know how to do it, but I don't do it.
So if any of the listeners would like to purchase your services, all they need to do is contact you through Instagram, and your handle is The Witch of Ukraine.
Yeah, just contact me, send me a message. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will put your information in the episode notes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being a guest today. This has been very enriching and informative. Now we know a little bit about the Witch of Ukraine and Ukrainian traditional witchcraft.
Thank you very much for having me. And I hope you learn something from that, and I spread some, knowledge about Ukrainian witchcraft and about Ukrainian way of dealing with things. And I wish your listeners all the best, and may our sacred mother bless you all.
Thank you for joining us for Witchcasting with Theodora Pendragon. Have a burning question or have a topic you'd love Theodora and her guests to discuss on the show? Contact her through Instagram at Theodora Pendragon. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And help us spread the word by leaving us a rating and review and sharing it with your friends. See you next time, and may your magic always shine.